Right now, well, you have seen him via satellite. We have procured him on set here somehow. Richard Fowler, pleasure to have you here with us, Democratic strategist.
In 3D.
In 3D, exactly.
Thank you,
it's real.
guys.
It's not like, yeah, exactly. And we also have TJ McCormick, host of the World of TJ McCormick and TJTalk.com.
Hi.
Great to have you
Good
here.
to be
You
back.
two have been on together.
Yes, but from afar.
Just from afar. So how does it feel to be on set together?
Well, I can smell you. He smells fabulous. He has a great. What is the fragrance?
Oh, see, now you're going to put me on. You're going to put me
I
on
wear
the spot.
Issey Miyake for men, but I'm not wearing it.
I remember your wife likes that.
I'm wearing Xenia today. So.
Oh, Xenia,
Xenia.
very nice. Very good. I have Mark Jacobs on. It's like a home shopping network.
All right.
Advertising here. All right, so we're going to talk about the report that we got. And in fact, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in Libya. There is a lot of information coming forward. Some reports, unconfirmed yet, Fox News is not going with this, is that Gaddafi is ready to hand over power and in fact leave Libya and start some kind of transition team. I don't know, TJ, is that too good to be true?
No, it's probably what we could have anticipated, because Obama wouldn't have been sticking his neck out talking about he must go, without knowing that something was
diplomatic
afoot.
going on behind the scenes.
You know, but for sure, what we're just talking about in Yemen speaks volumes about a lot of our concerns, a lot of Americans' concerns about potentially arming these rebels, who in fact we don't know what comprises these rebels in Libya.
Some could be, yeah.
Right, exactly. Look what's
well.
going on. They're declaring a province to be theirs in Yemen, for crying out loud. And so who knows? Who knows what kind of camp they're looking to set up there? But
Richard.
I agree. I think I think President Obama probably knew that this transition was happening. We know that they're meeting with.
I hope so.
I hope he. I'm pretty sure he does. But they're meeting with some of the folks in London to talk about how this transition is going to look, and I think that's imperative. I think that had a lot to do with the fact that we put sanctions on him,
sure.
and the fact that we we blew up parts of his palace, and I think the no-fly zone was a step in the right direction.
Yeah, it seems to at least help somewhat, although the latest reports this week, as you recall, within 48 hours, the rebels had been beat back in 3 different cities.
Right.
They're definitely not winning.
the president opened his speech the other night by proclaiming he didn't wear a flight suit on the deck of an aircraft carrier, but he did stand there and say, I am happy to announce that we have stopped, we have ceased the forces, whatever. And like within a day, we're hearing about the retreat of the rebels. So yeah, no, this is not a contained situation. And just this morning, we're talking about how we're thinking about removing our planes from the situation. This is like bizarre. It is April Fool's Day. France is leading a charge, and we are retreating.
Well, I know it's like you can't make it up. It's like a Saturday Night Live skit. The thing is, there must be some threat where Gaddafi knows that because U.S. has special forces on the ground, covert operations, that he's in danger. So better to go out with assurances that he won't be prosecuted.
Right.
Let him be relocated. Let him, abdicate.
Classic exile. Right?
And it'll be handed over to someone, but it can't be handed over to one of his sons because that's no better than having him in place.
Not
right,
at all.
Richard?
I think the key is democracy in Libya, and I think we'll get that. I think
Eventually.
Eventually.
That's the goal, at least.
I think the rebels in Benghazi, they're very clear about saying that, we really want democracy.
Right.
And I think the president was in the right. We did complete our mission in Libya. We went in to enforce a no-fly zone. He made it very clear from the beginning of what his perspective was.
Right.
We're going in to put in a no-fly zone, and we're out of there. We're not going to put troops on the ground. We have 2 other wars that we're currently involved in, and he did just that. I think regardless of what happens, obviously, Gaddafi still has some military forces left. We've taken out his air defense. We've taken out a lot of his planes. We've taken out a lot of his arsenal. Now the power is in the hands of the Libyan people to create a democracy.
Did you guys see there was an article this morning in the Wall Street Journal from Joe Lieberman and John McCain from the senators who tend to be, like-minded. They're very close, and they, have a lot of conversations and agreement on policy that they favor. And they said, listen, the point now is to be forward-looking, because many people, including the New York Times, criticized President Obama and the U.S. response going into Libya, saying that it was dithering, that we didn't do enough quickly enough. Ultimately, if Gaddafi is taken out of power, then that conversation will be moot. But at this point, the situation is still very fluid. The rebels have definitely are operating at a disadvantage. They're not trained. They have no idea how to fight. Oh, and they have no weapons. So there's real problems here unless we do something diplomatically.
Right.
to take him out.
And is in fact Al Qaeda lying in wait? Are they even kind of a part? Is the only organized aspect of these guys
to fill the
that
void.
vacuum?
Yeah.
We always talk about when it comes to the Middle East, man. We always find ourselves talking about the potential power vacuum. Hey, the difference between us and them, you know, the peaceful transition of power every 4 years, God willing, every 4 years coming up. But anyway, you know, this vacuum we talk about, man, oh man, the chickens are going to come home to roost at some point, and you just don't know what part Al Qaeda. They know their talking points. They know what sounds good to the rest of the world, and if they're putting out statements that, you know, we want democracy, we want a representative government. Well, fantastic, but you know.
Well, Mike says democracy, the Libyan opposition seems to be a ragtag group not associated with one another, meaning they're disparate, you know, factions. And you worry then about tribal regions then developing. I mean, you've got AQ claiming a territory or a province, whatever, in Yemen now. I mean, come on. There's a lot of
and we do, and it was coming out more and more in the last couple of weeks just how Gaddafi and Al Qaeda were never really on speaking terms. He's much more of a secular leader, and them being, you know, go ahead.
No, I think you're right. I think you know, what we have to do here is we have to uphold democracy and help them create a democracy. In any true democracy, you're going to have people that are to the far left, to the far right. Al Qaeda being to the far right in our terms of the far left. We see them as bad, but at the end of the day, in any democracy,
from the killing branch.
That's fair enough. Okay. But in any democracy, they have the right to vote and be on the ballot. I think the people of Benghazi, though, and the people that you've seen, the fact that you had a 14-year-old directing traffic a few weeks back, and everybody was obeying him, and the fact that these people are really they really want democracy. That's what's happening all across the Middle East. That I think they will hold. I don't think Al Qaeda will have as much of a root as people make it out to be. I just don't see that.
It seems that the scales always seem to tip in favor of Al Qaeda.
They made a point. They said that the battlefield reversals were also due in part to the weather, and they weren't able to. They had to halt them to like the airstrikes, and that
right. I saw Leventhal reporting and talking about
forces to move forward. And the second the rebels see, oh wait, there's some real guns over there, they like pack up, jump in whatever vehicle has gas in it, and take off.
Yeah.
Retreat.
They get in their Corolla.
Well, they have no idea what they're doing. I mean, so what do we expect?
But the thing is, though, is that they have like made a dent. You know, that's the thing that's creepy about all this, is that what makes up that organized faction of these rebels? What is it? Al Qaeda? Is it this unbelievably organized bunch of terrorists that have at least gotten in there, kind of like in the American Revolution, we had those Prussians who showed up, and
Uncle Dino saying, is this conversation trying to explain the Obama doctrine?
The Obama doctrine, which is see Sarkozy.
See Sarkozy.
Hold on a second now. Hold on a second.
Doing ESPN brackets, golfing.
I like Pitt.
Hold on a second.
I like Pitt. Can't argue with the Jayhawks.
Hold on a second. I think the Obama. I don't really think we've developed an Obama doctrine, but I think President Obama.
It's a work in progress.
It is a work in progress. He's a new president.
No, he's not. Not anymore.
Well, because
he's not.
He's going to be a new president because we're getting 2 terms. So regardless, we're going to have 8 years of President Barack Obama.
Okay.
That I can guarantee you.
Okay.
And the Obama doctrine is we're going to create foreign coalitions. We're going to work with individuals. We're going to work with the United Nations. We're going to work with international organizations to bring together countries so that we can really solve the world's problems. We cannot do it alone. We have to work with NATO. We have to work with France. We have to work with Italy.
But some people are going to say, and all my friends here on the live chat are saying, why is it our problem to have to make a democracy throughout the world, or to insist on helping them or making them work it out, because we're so overextended as it is with Iraq, with Afghanistan.
And when Bush was doing it, it was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
Well, but I think there's a distinction with what George W. Bush did and what Barack Obama did. Our job is to preserve democracy because we are the world's biggest economy, we're the world's leader, and we're the world's best democracy. Okay. And so we have to uphold that.
It's really different from what Bush did.
Turtles Lady
It's completely different than what Bush did.
Barack Obama's accomplished his purpose, made us a third world country.
Well, look, you know, it's starting to look like those people who are supposedly wearing tinfoil hats and the conspiracy theorists who said that Barack Obama is subversive and has a chip in his shoulder and sees America as the problem and not the answer. But what about people
wanting to solve our problems first? Chief says that. Chief Max says that. The heck with the world.
Exactly.
What about our problems?
Exactly the point.
And Uncle Dino's not happy. 8 years of Obama. Laughing.
Well, but I think he's.
But look at the job numbers, the economy, right? Unemployment hits
going
the low,
down.
right? It's below 9%
those
now.
are liberally skewed
You
numbers.
think so, TJ?
Well, we stop.
TJ's not believing.
The people who are done receiving their benefits, they're not counted. The people who have stopped searching for jobs, they're not counted. There's a lot of people, a heck of a lot smarter than me out there, who say the real unemployment numbers are in double digits, in the high double digits, potentially 100% unemployment is what I'm hearing.
Look. That's
70% are
absurd. That's absurd.
People feel
that's
that
absurd.
Obama is also abdicating leadership to like Sarkozy, others to the UN.
We have a Canadian general for crying out loud.
As well. Pardon?
We have a Canadian general running this thing. They don't even carry guns.
Curtis said that.
Well, this is the situation here.
Stick.
President Obama has to deal with two fronts. He has to deal with the international front. And he has to deal with the domestic front. And what he's doing is just that. He's building a coalition so he can so he can work on the domestic front and on the foreign front. And at the same time, he's working to win America's future. He's working on creating better transportation systems. He's working on creating a better education system so we can really win the future. The only way we're going to build this economy back is through investment, and that's exactly what President Obama is doing.
Where is he making the investment?
He's making in the stimulus package. He gave $8 billion to build high-speed rail. On top of that,
I took a slow-speed rail here today.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly why we need high-speed rail. We have to compete with the rest of the world.
But
when China has a high-speed rail,
I'll never get.
If China has a high-speed rail that's going 300 miles an hour, we only have Excella, which goes 75 on a good day. That shows the problem.
Yeah.
And I think the president is really working on that.
Mike is saying, why didn't we solve the African world in the 90s in 2000 that killed millions?
Well, listen, we're going to have to deal with oppressive regimes.
People have a problem with it. That why Libya? People are
why
being
not Darfur? Why not Syria? Why not
Somalia? Any of them?
Yonkers?
Well, we have to. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of cruel and unusual dictators all across.
Go to the Ivory Coast.
All across the country,
let's just take a
all across the
snapshot of
world.
what you're saying right now. This is fascinating because this is exactly what conservative people who supported George Bush were forced to say over the last several years. They said, "Oh, well, why Saddam? Well, Saddam has great rooms and gassed his own people. Well, yeah. Well, why not Darfur? What you guys are now giving the exact same canned answers that we were forced to give.
Yes, I think the situation,
exactly what I was saying 2 years ago.
The situation in Afghanistan and Iraq, the situation in Iraq in particular, was a situation where George W. Bush woke up one morning and said, "We're going to go to war with Iraq." He gave no clear delineation why we went. He said, first we're going for weapons of mass destruction, then we're going for democracy.
Syria,
there's no clear delineation of why we're going in. President Obama has been very clear in why we go into Libya.
The chief said he wanted to go 300, move to China. 300 miles per hour.
The Bush administration spent like months waiting out Saddam, giving him every chance to go. And while they were waiting, having resolutions passed. Talk about a coalition. We had the intelligence community of all the major nations, all of our allies saying, "Yeah, we got it. Yeah, we see it. We know we have the intelligence."
Where are the weapons?
And
there was no weapons.
They're in Syria. Mark my words.
There's no weapons.
They're in Syria. They were so in Syria.
Everyone knows about it. They just couldn't deal.
And we also had the proof that he used them on his own people, the Kurds in the north. Anyway, the point is that he did in fact delineate exactly why.
I don't think there was
and the
no
whole
clear
world
delineation.
Agreed.
I mean,
this guy didn't delineate until 9 days after the operation.
There's no reason as to why we should go back and rehash the past, but I think President Obama has been pretty clear in his delineations. He said we're going into Libya to take out their air defense. We're going into Libya to begin the start of the no-fly zone.
People are saying protect our borders, bring the troops home to protect our borders. Forget about putting them overseas in places like Libya.
Well, we do need to protect our borders. In order for us to protect our borders, we have to have a real conversation about immigration reform.
That's my third topic. Viewers can take a look at this. FoxNews.com. Federal agents told